Welcome back to another episode. I thought we'd do a full run through on the Rusty HQ as it got a lot of traction on Instagram not long ago. So, for you people who actually want to have a bit more in depth on this car, we'll go through a bit more of what we've done so far on it and what's to come. So, when we pulled her out the paddock, these were the wheels we actually got it on. All we have done is done the white walls. Well, Jesse have done the white walls. And I had from my old HJ some center or hubcaps, whatever you want to call them, lying around in the shed. So we just used them because I'm not going to source other things for this car. Whatever I had, I reused. How we got it so low, everyone had asked about that as well. We had choppies in the front. I can't remember how many actual springs we chopped out the front, but quite a lot, I believe. And then the rear, what we had done is flip the rear leaf springs, cut the bump stops, reinstall them. I think we removed maybe one leaf spring as well. So it's literally diff on body pretty much as it sits. But that's all I wanted. I wanted this car to be more of a art piece than a real drivable car. So yeah, the original plan with this car was actually to restore it and do all those sort of things, get it back on the road, whatever. And then when we actually ripped the interior out, we soon realised how many holes were actually in this thing. Like even in the roof, there was even an ant's nest, I remember, through the whole car. And I still believe there's some sort of ant nest going on somewhere. Things transpired and we just kept persisting with it. All the interior was out at some point and I cleaned it up and cleaned it up and cleaned it up and kept going. Like the amount of rust that I cleaned out of this car, like fallen rust out of the roof and the back of the tray, and it really continued into something more than I thought. And then I thought, you know what? Let's get this car moving. So if I have to move house or whatever it is, you can put a battery in it and start it up. So then we worked on that. We got it started eventually, and that's where it started to just keep going. And once I seen this thing looking as it is now, like lowered, all that, I thought, well, let's try work on the interior a bit. So I cleaned up the interior a bit, and I thought, why don't we just try get rego for it? So what I did was it actually had the original plate still on both front and back. Well, not front, sorry. The front one was off, but it was in the car, and the back one was still on there, and it was still visible. So I thought, let's just try MR1 form, just for a bit of a laugh. And sure enough, I took it in, got it registered, got the same plates, but just new versions of them, so you can actually see them better. And yeah, that's when I started going, okay, maybe we can actually try take this thing somewhere just as a bit of a laugh, And whatever happens, happens. If it got defected or whatever, it would just go back to its original plan, being garden art. But the more and more we worked on this car and Jesse and I especially, chipping away at it and just falling in love with it more and more. And people fall in love with it too, how cool the patina is on it. And it's all natural. It's not man-made patina. The next step was this tailgate was wide open pretty much. And if you come up to where I am now, you can actually see the old hinges here. I'll clip a video in a second, but these hinges here were actually on the tailgate. They're no longer connected to the tailgate. We had to pull those hinges. Well, we pulled the tailgate off the hinges because they were that seized. We had to belt the hinges back up to even get that tailgate to close. So then we've made the tailgate shut and stay shut. And the plan is just to weld it shut. There's no more thought process on that because I don't want it to open ever again, I don't think. Maybe one day, you never know. But for now, we're just going to weld it shut so it doesn't fall out if we do take it for a drive. All right, so moving on to the interior. Like I said, we had pulled out the seat, cut new floor pans out of that tray bed that was out of our old Derby ute. And then we just metal screwed them in. The backing piece of this came out of the Derby ute as well, and they had put an aluminium sheet there and already cut it out or whatever and screwed it in. So I just stole that idea and took that piece too, because the backing piece behind the seat here is quite rusted out, and there's no way I wanted to cut that all out and weld a new piece in, because it just, as soon as you start doing that sort of thing, it opens a can of worms. So we screwed that in the back there. And then for the door trims, they were already made for the other ute as well. So I thought it kind of goes with that look I'm going for. You know, it's garden art. It's a bit rat roddy sort of looking. So we literally just took them out, got the windows to sort of work again, got the door handles to work again, because the doors originally didn't shut. In some of the early videos, you could probably see the doors were like not aligned properly and not shutting properly. But yeah, so we did that. Currently, at the moment, we have the dash and all the stuff apart because we're chasing wiring for all the lighting and stuff. I want to get all the lighting perfect, so we're just currently doing that. The seat itself, I just cleaned the tops and bottom of it, and I just decided to reuse the seat. It was a lot easier. I did buy seats that I was going to use, and I was going to put a console in the middle and stuff like that, but it was too much work. So all I did was just put the original seat back in, if this is the original seat, and then we just put a nice blanket sort of thing over the top, so it just neatens it up a bit. With the inside of the roof, because this roof here, which I'll put some videos into, the hole was that big. After I actually seen it, I was actually quite concerned that maybe this was, you know, too far gone, which we already knew that at this point. So what I did was just kind of hold it together, which I'm actually really surprised done a really good job, is I filled the holes that I could see with expanding foam at the time, just to get by. The goal is probably to remove most of that expanding foam and fiberglass it and just bog it. That will be good enough for this car. I'm not going to, you know, do rust cuts on this. It's, as I say so many times, it's not worth it. And yeah, so all through behind this section here, like I was just saying before, literally massive holes all the way through, on the bottoms, everywhere. The floors weren't extremely bad, but right in the corners and stuff, they were quite bad. So yeah, future plans for the interior will probably be roof lining. I might carpet it, I might not. I'm not sure yet about that. Definitely a new steering wheel, because if I am to actually ever drive this thing properly, I would like to, you know, feel like I'm in a proper car. So steering wheel, roof lining, and then just tidy up even more. All right, so with the front end, I did use the original headlight surrounds, and a while ago I did paint them up, because I was just testing it to see if black would suit, because I was going to paint all the chrome bits and all the silver bits all black and do a like full blackout with the patina, because I have seen that done before, like with the black wheels as well, and it looks good. But as soon as we found the chrome hubcaps, and then the mirrors obviously chrome and the front bars chrome, I started looking at it and went, okay, maybe the chrome is a better option. So I am going to replace these headlight surrounds for better ones. I do plan on getting a new grille at some point, because that is a bit damaged. Unfortunately for that side of the car, I did hit a post when making some footage on it, and I have destroyed that a little bit, and that's not mendable without replacing the front a bit and ruining a patina. So that has to stay. So when I get a new headlights around, I will just bump it up so it looks the part of that dent. With the bar, I'm keeping this bar, but I do need bar brackets. So I am on the search for bar brackets. So when I get those, I'll actually fit the bar up properly, because it is just held on by cable ties, if you haven't noticed by now. All right, let's move on to the least interesting part about this car. The old 202, we've done all the basic stuff, thermostat, water pump, rebuilt the carby. There's still a little bit of work to do on the brakes yet, which we're still nibbling away at. A few other little things to do, but it's not interesting. We do want to put a V8 in this. I am thinking of doing a 253 swap at some point, just because it's cheap, it's period correct, and yeah, filter out the bonnet, I reckon. All right, the next thing I want to touch on as well, that a lot of people are talking about, is the seal panels on this thing. Now, like I said, you definitely can fit your hand through there, no worries. I have ordered new seal panels back and front for it, and the plan is to fix this now. I do want to be able to take this to Cars and Coffee and car shows. I will trail it there, but I do want to be able to take it to those events and, you know, show this car off, that people can, on a small budget. Like, this car cost me 2 cartons of beer, so I've just chipped away at it over time. I haven't spent much money. I've just used spare parts, secondhand parts, whatever I could find. And it just shows that you can bring these cars back to a certain level that's still cool, and you can use it. You know, you just got to be smart with how you do it. So yeah, we're going to replace these seal panels, and then stuff like this on the cow panel, we're going to fiberglass up, bog it up, So yeah, on this side as well, the cow panel's gone. And then down on the door is a bit bad. And then that sill panel is not as bad as the other side, but it's still not great. All right, so for fuel system, I was going to run this out of one of the old Derby cars as well. Because of how this was sitting and how it looked, I didn't assume that this tank was going to be any good. And the last thing I wanted to do was rip it out. I wanted minimal effort and max reward. So we put this in there with the hopes of just drilling a hole in the bed and plumbing it straight up to the top. And that was it. And then eventually, I don't know what happened, but I was dumb enough to put some fuel in and put a fuel filter on the other side and just see if it would run. And it's ever since then, it's been running fine off the original tank, not cleaned or anything. On this tank, we might keep it around because if we end up doing a V8 swap or something, we might use that tank and clean it up because it does add to that look as well. So if I can imagine it having a filter out the bonnet, having the fuel cell in the back, I think it's really cool. And it's an old fuel cell. We're reusing parts. It's kind of cool. All right, so the plans over the next couple of episodes on this car, I want to get the sill panels fixed up, bit of the rust around fixed up, chase some of that wiring and get the headlights and tail lights fixed up. Fix the brakes, get the brakes working good. It'd be nice to have brakes in this car finally. The car looks all right, but it just needs all the little 1%ers to actually make it a proper driving, half reliable old car. I would love to V8 swap this, 100%. It would look killer with a filter out the bonnet. I don't even care if it's 253. That's what I sort of want. So if anyone's got one, I'm in SA. If anyone's got one, they want to donate one, or they've got one that's cheap enough, let me know. Hit me up. But anyway, that's it for now. Quick little rundown on her. We'll see you on the next one.